Are you worried about today's dire financial situation?
Put simply, I would argue the Biden economic plan is working.
The storms on Wall Street continue today after regulators seized the assets of Silicon Valley Bank, marking the largest bank failure since the 2008 financial crisis.
Do you worry you'll have enough to pay your mortgage, pay your children's college tuition, enough to retire?
I believe our banking system remains strong.
Regional banks in focus once again today as the market digests the fallout of the First Republic failure.
You have questions, we have answers. It's The Gold Standard with Ken Russo and Jennifer Horn.
Thanks for joining us and welcome to another episode of The Gold Standard Radio Show. I'm Jennifer Horn, and that handsome guy right there, my co-host and partner in crime, Ken Russo.
People can't get enough.
They can't get enough.
No.
And by the way, the holiday riches, first Thanksgiving, how was it before we move into the next season?
Delicious. I happened to make my first turkey ever.
And it
honestly,
amazing.
It was the best turkey I've ever eaten in my life.
See, I would say it's beginner's luck, but I know you, and I think that you put a lot of skill. And I saw a picture of that turkey, and it looked delicious. So well done.
I prepared.
And now we're in the holiday season. Spending is crazy, both personally and, of course...
Well, Bidenomics is working.
Exactly.
You know, the economy is zooming along.
That
Not to mention,
debt.
most people are just using credit cards, and bankruptcies are increasing and delinquencies, but it doesn't matter.
Plastic,
it's
paper,
Bidenomics.
it's all good.
Big Joe.
Well, we are going to talk about our currency today, and you've probably seen the smoke. You've listened to this radio show. You've heard us talk about the smoke. Our currency is officially under attack. We are going to talk about that today, but we should first set the stage, Ken Russo, because you're so good at it. We like to channel the former president, Richard Nixon.
I forgot about this.
As we set the stage to how we got into the situation we're in.
And notice we say our currency is under attack. Mm-hmm. And remember a few weeks ago, we don't call our money money, we call it currency because our money is supposed to be a store of value.
Right.
But our paper money, because of Tricky Dick in 1971 and everything that's happened since then, our paper money keeps losing value because they keep printing it because it's fiat money. We're on a debt-based system. Our whole system relies on more and more debt.
Right.
And printing more money to even pay the interest on the debt. Mm-hmm. And back in 1971, as we famously know, they took the dollar off the gold standard. I am not a crook. The dollar will be no longer convertible into ounces of gold.
Right.
But basically, to make a long story short, the whole fiat money experiment started. Mm-hmm. The whole world is printing money. The whole world has currency that's not backed by anything, much different than before where there used to be a certain amount of gold that backed each dollar. Mm-hmm. So you have to ask yourself, well, where's all this new money coming from? Where's all the new money going to come from in the future to pay for all of this reckless spending? What's that going to do to our currency? Yeah. What's it going to do to our savings? Well, the money's going to come from a click of a mouse. That's where it's going to come from. It's going to come out of thin air. Mm-hmm. And basically, that's going to devalue our current money. So the money that you have at the bank, the money that you have in your stockbroker account, the money that you have in your IRA is going to continue to lose purchasing power.
And we wanted to increase purchasing power, right?
At least hold our purchasing power. So how could you hold purchasing power outside of the system? How could you hold it outside of a sick banking system that's supported by fake printed money? And the answer historically has been to accumulate gold ounces and silver ounces. And that's what we do, Jen. We help people convert paper assets like savings accounts or IRA accounts or old 401ks into tangible assets like physical gold and silver.
And this is what you want to think about as the holidays are coming and the new year comes. People are always give fresh eyes to their finances, right? Their financial situation. You start to look around and you see what's going on. It's an election year. We're all going to be more politically engaged. And now's the time to consider gold and precious metals or add to what you're already holding. And you can do that with Midas Gold Group. All you have to do is call 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-4653. That's 855-322-GOLD. You can go to MidasGoldGroup.com. 2 locations. If you want to go in person, I like to do that. Thousand Oaks, California, and Phoenix, Arizona. And if you're more of a texter, You can always text GOLD to 232425. Now, when we sat down today, Ken,
Yes.
you said the dollar is being used as a weapon.
Yes.
And I thought that we should dive into that a little bit because we hear about weaponizing things like the dollar, right? We hear about sanctions and such, but I don't think many of us have a real understanding about how the dollar is being used as a weapon. So can you deep dive into that for us?
Well, as much as we can in a short period of time.
And do it in 12 seconds.
Okay. Well, basically, we know that our money's losing value.
Mm-hmm.
But I would contend that our administration is making it worse because they're sanctioning some countries like we did with Russia.
Sure.
So basically, if you're one of these other countries that's no longer able to use the SWIFT system, which is a payment international system of dollars, if you have these other countries see that the United States is now, besides being a bully, also going to weaponize their money, weaponize the dollar, and put sanctions on someone if they get out of line or if they do something that, according to the United States government, that they're not supposed to do, they're going to try to punish them financially.
Right.
Just like the Canadian government tried to do with the truckers when they didn't want to get vaccinated, they froze their assets. So the first thing that the government thinks, our government right now, that they can do is freeze another country's assets.
And we've seen that time and time again. Multiple. Russia's a great one. Iran for a while.
That's exactly right. Now, if you were one of these other countries and you were thinking about doing business in United States debt and United States dollar and saving some of your reserves in dollars, and you see this action based on the United States government, would you say to yourself, well, I think we're going to do more business in the dollar or we're going to do less?
Yet.
There you go.
Is that right?
Well, not yet, but it's headed that direction.
Yeah, we're
right?
done. Right.
So when we say the United States is losing its grip on world reserve currency status, it's because of using the dollar as a weapon. It's because of imposing these sanctions. It's making these countries settle their commodity trades and their oil trades in U.S. dollars. And as we see other currencies of the world, they're starting to catch up. They still have a long way to go. But the trend of the United States dollar being as popular as it was, say, 20 years ago versus now, it's definitely headed in the wrong direction. So a lot of these other countries are doing business in their local currencies outside of the dollar, which is causing a lot of the global reserves, including our debt, to be less focused on dollars. And that's a problem because the less demand for dollars means that the value is more than likely going to go down. And I don't care what the chart of the dollar says. I mean, the dollar, the DXY, in the last 5 years has actually probably gone up 20%.
Okay.
That's versus other world currencies. They say that the dollar is the cleanest shirt in a dirty laundry basket. I mean, the best of the worst, right?
Right.
But if you're an American and you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas station, you pay your bills, you pay your utility bills, we all know that the dollar is losing purchasing power.
We can feel it.
I mean, how ridiculous is this whole scenario?
Right.
But it just goes back to the situation of is how much can you trust what's out there, the numbers that are coming out, the values that are coming out. And a lot of the people that we talk to are not willing to risk all of their money on that type of a situation.
Right.
And they have to say to themselves, what could I do about this? How could I get some purchasing power outside of the system in a tangible asset that's going to protect me and my family and protect my savings? And gold, Jen, and silver has been a very convenient, easy way to do that forever.
And people have been doing this throughout time. And if you look at other countries, they're starting to gather up gold and silver as well, precious metals, because there isn't the power that the dollar used to have.
Yeah, and the central banks of the world are historically buying more gold than they ever have. So they're preparing for where our monetary systems are headed over the next 10 or 20 years. They're printing a whole bunch of paper and pushing that on people, but behind the scenes, they're using their own funds to buy gold. They're not stupid.
Right.
They may be corrupt, and they may be,
but they want to come out on top.
They may be greedy, but they're not stupid.
Yeah.
So I would say be your own bank, create your own protection, your own defense, get some distance between you and the banking system and our money, which is dying.
Yeah.
And gold and silver will protect what you have historically. And in my opinion, that's exactly what people should be thinking about at this moment.
And if you want to think it through with one of the representatives at Midas Gold Group, get on the phone. You shouldn't wait. 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-4653. Do you trust the government? Do you trust the government of this country? Do you trust the banking sector to properly represent you? All the money that you've worked for, all of the stuff you would like, the legacy you'd like to leave to your family. Make a bank for yourself. Bring it home. Have the control outside of the purview of government. Do it today to keep yourself safe. 855-322-4653 for Midas Gold Group. 855-322-GOLD. MidasGoldGroup.com is the place to go as well. And 2 different places to go. If you'd like to do your business in person, you can go to Phoenix, Arizona, Thousand Oaks, California. All you have to do is walk in, essentially, and say hello. You can check out more information, MidasGoldGroup.com, 855-322-4653, or you can text. We've made it very easy for you. Text GOLD to 232425.
Yeah, and if you're in Florida, Texas, wherever, Oregon,
call
New York. I mean, you're allowed to protect your money.
That's
and
absolutely
we can do
right.
it over the phone.
Yep.
It's very simple. We'll walk you through it. We'll send you some proposals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to have a relationship right now. If you need to do any buying or selling quickly with precious metals, it's going to be more important than ever. And we've just talked basically why the value of our money is decreasing tremendously. They keep printing it. It's fiat. The government is weaponizing it. They're going to continue to do that. The value is going to continue to dwindle. Do something about it while you still can.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk coming up next about the safety and the privacy and the value that gold and silver bring to you. That's what they provide you. If you're ready to start investigating, or maybe you're just looking for a new gold dealer, check out the folks at Midas Gold Group. The reason I love them, and you know this, Ken, I'm not speaking out of school, but they're America First patriots. They're veteran owned. They're real people, not just people living in a call center. You can talk to them, go through your current situation, get some options ahead of you, and then make some choices for you and your family. 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-4653, 855-322-GOLD, always online, MidasGoldGroup.com, MidasGoldGroup.com, and you can text GOLD to 232425 for more information. Midas will get right back to you. There's more up ahead. It is the Gold Standard Radio Show with Ken Russo and Jennifer Horn.
Dr. Gorka here. You're listening to The Gold Standard with your hosts, Ken Russo from veteran-owned Midas Gold Group and Jennifer Horn. Owning private money in the form of physical gold and silver is perhaps more important than ever to your long-term financial security. As U.S. banks fail, the Biden administration sends hundreds of billions abroad while depleting our strategic oil reserves. However, the biggest financial threat may be coming from within: central bank digital currency. The patents have been filed and the big banks have released plans for implementation. Midas Gold Group sees tyrannical implications, the end of cash, the end of financial privacy, big government able to see your every purchase. Could there be ties to social credit? Hear more commentary on the political and economic issues that affect your financial security right here on the Gold Standard. You can create your own Gold Standard with a call to Midas Gold Group, 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653, MidasGoldGroup.com.
Welcome back. It is the Gold Standard Radio Show. Ken Russo and Jennifer Horn. Happy to be back together again and back with all of you, certainly, to talk about something that is very important, and that is the safety, the privacy, and the value of all of that money you've worked so hard for throughout your life. Now,
how are you, baby?
How you doing, baby? Do you trust that guy to make the decisions for you? I mean, I don't.
I'm qualified to be the president of the United States. You want to see why?
Let's see.
How are you, baby?
The sniffer in chief. There he is. Oh, man. And he had a wild Thanksgiving weekend. But I guess I digress a bit. All right. So before the break, we were talking about the value, right?
Yeah.
That gold can bring to you, gold and precious metals. But
and I think we would all 100% agree that our paper money is losing value. Could we agree, folks?
I think we can agree on that.
Okay, let's move on.
And I think even if you have not thought one bit about even if you don't even have a savings account, if you have been to a grocery store or a gas station,
and
you know
could we
that.
agree that once our debt is 50 trillion or 100 trillion, that the money of our money is going to be almost worthless? Could we agree?
We can agree.
Okay.
When I can't even figure out how many zeros that is.
I would concur.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
I concur.
What movie is that from? I would concur.
I don't know.
Catch Me If You Can.
Is it?
Yeah,
I love
when
that
Leonardo
movie.
DiCaprio fakes being a doctor.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Men can remember lines from movies. I don't think women have the
come
same
on.
gene. It's true.
Please, you're very, very smart. Please.
I didn't say that I wasn't. I just said I don't remember lines from movies. That's all. All right, so let's jump into it. We established that the value of the dollar is declining.
Yes.
The value of gold continues to go up. It's always been very safe and secure.
It's almost at an all-time high, and it's
Yeah.
getting ready to break out, folks. And when gold goes over 2,100 for a specific amount of time here, it's probably going to go to 3,000 very quickly. So,
Yep.
Try to get your money out of the banking system while you can, out of the stock market, but also try to get gold and silver while it's still
While you
realistically priced. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, and you could do that. Midas Gold Group, 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. Let's go into safety, because that is a big one for a lot of people where we don't want to be part of the risk, right? There's just too much uncertainty.
How
and
safe is
chaos.
our money? Well, back in March, many banks went under. Back in 2008, there were 10,000 banks. Now there's 4,600.
That's incredible.
So 15 years, half the banks. Not to mention, I read a story this week that a lot of branches are closing. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, PNC Bank.
I've seen it in my own neighborhood.
Chase, a lot of these banks are closing, okay? So what's going to be the access to your money? Not to mention, I don't want to name the specific bank because, we're not looking for problems, but there was a bank, a major wirehouse bank, that let an ACH payment, a fraudulent payment, go through for tens of thousands of dollars from a business account, and they can't get their money back. So my question would be, if the banks are so risky and not safe, why would you leave all of your money in a system, Jen, a banking system, that either could be hacked or subject to fraud?
Yeah, that's vulnerable.
Why would you do that?
You wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I think anybody who has any type of reality, any type of common sense would say, hey, listen, the bank loans out all this money. The bank is underwater on all their investments with these higher interest rates and everything else. Is my money going to be there when I need it? And
I think this requires a change of a way of thinking, because I think for many of us, and I'll just speak for myself, when you used to think about the bank, it was a fortress, right? It was the place where you put everything because you wanted safety, because you wanted to keep things safe. But now that you realize that the banks don't keep all the money there, right? They're sending it out. They've got a lot of, priorities that are probably more based in woke and DEI.
And also lending.
They're lending everything to everybody. They're not paying attention. And then we all think, oh, FDIC insured, everything is safe.
Right.
We've got a guarantee, but we don't.
No, and then they allow the banks to take out all this leverage through derivatives, and they allow these banks to invest like hedge funds.
Right.
So these are not fortresses, okay? These are not the places that you think they are. They're very criminal.
Yeah.
And I would say to anyone is your money is, first of all, not going to be available if and when you need large amounts, and that's getting worse by the day. And our money, you could wake up any day, and any one of these banks could be insolvent. And I would say, listen, never put all of your eggs in one basket. You need money at the banks for expenses.
Yeah.
But you don't have to leave hundreds of thousands of dollars in a banking system.
Hoping you can get to it.
Well, yeah. And in my opinion, the odds of that in a time of crisis are going to be almost impossible. So now's the time. Make some preparations. Get some money out of the bank. Convert some of that to gold and silver. Keep it under your own possession. It'll at least, no matter what happens with the banking system, if they're opened or not, at least you can get to that.
Your bases are covered. And we talk about the fact that you pull a portion of your money out. You don't have to go running and screaming from the system. That's not something that you have to do, but you can hedge your bets. You can make sure that you have some resources at home, and that is in the form of gold and silver that you can access when you need it, if you need it, and it's real and tangible. It's not just digits on a statement page.
Yeah, eventually this is going to get so bad, Jen, that some of the banks are going to take people's deposits and there are going to be bail-ins. So I hope it doesn't have to come down to that for people to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So make those decisions now. There's no reason in the world to have so much of your money wrapped up in a system and tied to a system like that is really underwater. So you can do something about it, and we'd be more than happy to help people with that.
And you can get the help you're looking for. Call Midas Gold Group today, 855-322-4653. A Midas representative is there to give you some options and to look through your situation. 855-322-4653. That's 855-322-GOLD. You can go see someone face-to-face, Thousand Oaks, California, Phoenix, Arizona. You can text the word GOLD to 232425, or you can always check things out online, MidasGoldGroup.com. That's MidasGoldGroup.com.
Yeah, and when we talk about the banking system, Jen, we're including your retirement accounts.
Of course.
I mean, that's all tied to the same system.
To the big banks.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And not to mention our privacy. I mean, how do you feel?
That.
I mean, you're a corporate woman.
Thank you.
Successful radio host.
Yes.
Television star personality.
Sure.
How do you feel about the privacy of your money?
It worries me every day. And earlier in the program today, you brought up the Canadian truck drivers. That was the wake-up call for me. When the government said, if you're not getting a vaccine, if you're going to sit out here and protest us, we're going to take your stuff.
Now.
And I don't feel like that's that far off in this country.
Now. We're headed towards a digital system.
Yeah.
Totally digital, called a CBDC.
Which is also nerve-wracking.
Central bank digital currency. There's 114 countries, the United States being one of them, that are currently pursuing a CBDC right now. If we have, or when we have a CBDC, you're going to have no privacy because the government, the Fed, whoever, the central bank, whoever's going to be in charge of our bank accounts and our retirement accounts at that time are going to be able to see every single transaction.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to tell you when and where to spend your money if they want to. They'll be able to turn it on and off if they want to. So in my opinion, why on earth would you have all of your money wrapped up in a system where you have absolutely zero privacy and zero control? And that is not that far away.
It's interesting because I think probably just going through all the reasons why people should own gold and precious metals, I always think about the safety and the value. Of course, it's the most obvious, but the one that touches my heart the most is the privacy issue. And that's because I've seen people that I know and love lose their social media accounts or lose maybe their careers for something that they've said. And so when you think now
it's a revenue stream thing too,
yeah,
Jen. They cut people off right away. Oh, well, let's cut their revenue stream off. They're not allowed to have endorsers anymore.
Right. And you think about how big government has already been colluding with big social media, big tech companies. Do we really want that in our bank account? Do we really need that? And I really think the answer is no. If you want a transaction that's still private, gold and precious metals are still private, which is insanely good. It makes it maybe the most important reason for me personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Personal freedom, and financial freedom, it matters. It matters. And there's no reason in the world why people should comply when our government is trying to take that away from us.
That's right.
There's no reason in the world. So these are the moves that people have to make now while we still can, because once they roll us into that system, there's not going to be getting out of it, And what if we can't access our money? We talked about this last week. What's the difference if you have $1 zillion in the bank or your retirement account and you can't get to it?
If you can't get to it, you've got nothing. So let's review. Ready? Gold and precious metals. They bring us safety.
Yes.
They bring us
privacy.
And they bring us
value.
Very good. Look at that. Oh, wait, you're the teacher. I forgot. Yes. I should have quizzed myself. I got it, though. Safety, privacy, value.
You get a gold star.
All right. Speaking of gold, call Midas Gold Group today, 855-322-4653, 855-322-GOLD. That's the phone number. MidasGoldGroup.com is the website. You can go visit the storefronts in Thousand Oaks or in Phoenix, Arizona, or you can text GOLD to 232425. Again, the number, 855-322-4653, 855-322-GOLD. Ken Russo, thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us. It's a Gold Standard Radio show with Ken Russo and Jennifer Horn.